do. We have the lovely Catherine in here with us today. You can see in this fabulous dress.
Hello.
Catherine is from London Flair PR, and this is really cool for us because we really wanted today's session to be a little bit LA, because we know that there's loads and loads of people who are watching the shows that actually are based in LA, but some of you might have just arrived and really want the support. Some of you may not know about PR, and it just gives us everybody a chance to really understand a little bit more about the industry, not just from when we speak to Marcy later about castings, but also about how you sell yourself, how you get yourself out there with your jazz hands without being a bit crazy. So let me tell you a little bit about the lovely Catherine Lynn Scott. Catherine Lynn Scott's the CEO of London Flair PR, and you guys were in LA and then opened in London.
Yeah, we started off in LA and we have an office in London as well.
Amazing. Lucky we've got the CEO here. Brilliant. They specialise in entertainment publicity and work with actors just starting out, as well as Oscar, Emmy and BAFTA winners.
Yeah.
Cool. And they started in 2008, so they've been going for a long while. They've got stars that are in shows like The Big Bang Theory, Broadchurch, Emmerdale, EastEnders, Pulling the Big Reunion, 24, Black Sails.
Kind of not much then.
Yeah, you know.
No, we're really quiet.
Kind of small
You may
time.
not have heard of Twilight, Breaking Dawn, X-Men, you know, just those kind of things.
Amazing.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah. You might be the first guest that said hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well,
Nice.
you know, you've got to be friendly.
It's PR, you know.
Absolutely. Like it.
So can I start? Like, your credits are amazing. What you've got so far, what you
Thank
guys
you.
have been doing. How do actors find you? Like,
Well, it's for us, it's our website, londonflairpr.com, or word of mouth.
Yeah.
Literally, 90% of our clients are because we work with somebody and they've mentioned us to someone else, and that's how we get most of our clients. But we were really lucky that our first client was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
oh wow,
So
yeah, okay.
we got kind of lucky
Yeah.
on that. But really, it's word of mouth, and also when we started in LA, and initially we only had Brits. So we were kind of the go-to for Brits in LA. Now it's anybody, but before it was only Brits. So that helped us, you know, really make a name for ourselves in LA.
And is that attached to the Brits in LA Facebook group?
No,
It's a totally unrelated thing.
no, we
That's
do
a
work
fact.
with them actually
Yeah.
sometimes, but no,
It's okay.
separate.
So unrelated. Oh, brilliant. And so I guess this is quite a magic question. How does an actor know the right time to actually approach you, the PR company? So they might want to come to London Flair PR because they have heard about you through word of mouth. When should they actually do that?
You know what? That is an amazing question that many actors have no clue. I get an email every single day from people who, you know, are not at the right time. And, you know, you just have to think to yourself, kind of think as a journalist, for you. You know, for me to get you out in the press, you need to have something press-worthy and something that people are going to want to write about. So probably to put the minimum, really you need to be in a television series that's on TV with a minimum of 2 episodes.
Right.
Or in a film that's going into theatres with a decent part. It doesn't have to be the lead, but it has to be a memorable part that, you know, people will say, oh my God, that person really stood out. And really, if you can go by those guidelines, that gives you an idea.
That's excellent. And when you say about the film, maybe it's not getting a cinema release, but it might be getting, is it Sundance or Tribeca or Berlin Film Festival? You know,
yeah,
it's
that's
been
massive.
screening.
There's so much press out there, you know, film press. And we work actually with independent films. We do a lot of PR for independent films. So maybe you are in a film, but it's not going to theatre, but it's going to a good festival. That's also a time that might be the time to, you know, speak to a publicist.
Okay.
And a good publicist should be honest and tell you if it's the right time or not. So don't be afraid to ask.
Are you saying, I'm kind of maybe putting words in your mouth, that there are some publicists that aren't honest?
Oh yeah, of course there are. I mean, there's some people that will just work with you and not get you anything. But I mean, for us, it's word of mouth, so we have to. You know, I will only work with somebody if I know I can get, you know, good results. Otherwise, I just say it's not the right time. Some people get offended, but you should never be offended with someone who's being honest.
Because at the end of the day, we do, like, we the actor, I mean in general sense, not Steve and I, but we have to pay a PR company. They're not free, are they?
No,
You've
not
got to
free.
pay a publicist to actually work for you.
Yeah, so it's important for you. You don't want to spend money and get nothing back.
Yeah.
So it needs to be the right time. And, you know, good publicists or most publicists will not mind if you approach them. If you're not sure, ask. You know, it's fine. And if you're told that it's not the right time, don't be offended. Know that, okay, well, the next thing could be the right time.
Okay, good.
Most people don't have money to spend for nothing, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and it can be quite an expensive little thing to outlay, when especially when actors have so many other things they've got to pay for.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
So day to day,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do at London Flair PR?
There's no one day that's the same.
Oh, wicked.
There's not one day. That's what's so fun
Cool.
about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, one day I could be, writing press releases for a client and speaking to journalists to get interviews, or I could be going to a TV set with the client to do an interview. We media train all our clients to make sure they're ready for interviews. So I could be media training. We could be doing a press campaign planning or media reports, or going to an event with clients, a red carpet event, or arranging a red carpet event. There's not one day that's the same, which is good for me.
So what's your favourite thing you love doing?
Really, I have to say that I'm so lucky to have a job that I absolutely love, that nothing feels like work and there's nothing I don't like about it.
Wow.
Honestly,
At all?
100%.
Is there not
At
even like
all.
the smallest thing that you don't like? There's got to be something.
Perhaps the only thing I think that I don't like as much is sending out 1 million press releases.
1 million?
Well, I might be exaggerating a tiny
That
bit.
is how good
Tiny
London
bit.
Flair are.
But you
that's
do
what
have to
gets
send a
you
lot to
guys.
get, you target it right. It depends. For newer
That's-
people, I put in a lot more work with somebody new than someone with a name. With someone with a name, I can go straight to the press and I know who will pick it up. For someone new, you actually have to put in twice as much work because you're pitching to a lot more people.
So
Yeah.
you said something really interesting that you have to target. Is this especially when it becomes someone new? You have to really think about.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be specialized. If you're in a film, maybe it's a horror film, maybe it's a romantic comedy, or maybe it's something else. Maybe you're in a TV show that's a comedy, or whatever it happens to be. There are press that are specialized for those things. If you've just come into a series, well, actually, we have been lucky to get national newspapers for people who have just come into a series. But
Wow.
maybe it's not. If you're newer and you're in a film in festivals, well, then perhaps for us it's good to get you kind of, I call it, to bubble up, to bubble with the press and kind of have that bubble effect by getting really good interviews on film press and kind of build your name up. So when people start to see Google and they say, wow, there's all these interviews. I mean, good PR done right, you should not know there's a publicist involved. You should just be right.
That's interesting.
And I bet most people don't realise
Yeah.
that sometimes people are publicists. They just suddenly see them everywhere.
That's really interesting.
Uh-huh.
So when you say, like, you talk about seeing people everywhere, social media is just boomed in the last 3 to 4 years,
Yes.
around that time, and especially Twitter.
Yes.
So what's your opinion on social media? We've probably got a lot of questions here. So let's start with that one. What is your opinion on social media? Is it beneficial for people to be on, actors?
100%, 200%. And it's funny.
And sorry, but to add to that, when you say social media, Twitter, Facebook, like which parts of social media?
Google Plus,
Because there are-
YouTube,
there's so
Instagram,
many different
Pinterest.
ones as well.
Well, I don't think you need to be everywhere. I think definitely have a Facebook fan page. Even if you're new and you're starting out and you think there's not much to say, I'm sure you've done some plays or some theatre or something. You want to start building that fan page so you can start to build your numbers up, even if it just starts with your friends. But the reason you need to have it, I can give you a brilliant example. There was a part on an ABC show when they got down to the last 2 people. They chose the person. They couldn't decide who, so they chose the person with more Twitter followers to get the job.
True story.
For real?
I've heard that as a rumour
real.
before, but I didn't know it was real.
No, it is.
Wow.
So hold on.
Wow.
That was the only reason, more Twitter followers?
Yep.
Did they not look at the clout score? Did they not look at the influence?
It was 50-50, so that was the tipping point.
Amazing.
And there are some publications, especially in America, it's definitely, even there more than England or other places, America's very much social media, even more so. There's some magazines that have said to me, unless someone has 10,000 followers, I won't write about them.
And
Wow.
is that 10,000 followers across platforms?
Just
or
on Twitter. So get tweeting!
Start now, people.
Start now.
But then how do they build that up if they haven't done anything really massive?
Well, you
talk to
don't.
your clients about that?
You have to really kind of, start using it. And I think a lot of people, not so much Americans, because American people are brought up to be able to talk confidently about themselves and, have that thing where it's not really boasting, whereas, people from a lot of the places around the world, they're a bit too shy about talking about themselves, but they have to know that, you are a product. You're a product that's representing your brand and needs to promote your brand.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola didn't become a massive name by sitting on the shelf, and nor will you. So start by creating this Twitter account. Follow people that are in the industry. Directors that you like. Films that you like. Follow them, and they do sometimes tweet you back. I've had people who've got auditions like that. from tweeting directors.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting is nowadays, Twitter especially has completely broken down barriers. I mean, it could be the CEO of a big company or a big film company, and actually, it's just about that human connection.
Yeah,
which is why Twitter, I think, is fantastic.
And you know, it doesn't have to be a business every day. Maybe just tweet something fun, like just baked a cake, or you went hiking, or
because it kind of might be nicer sometimes not to just get bombarded with what someone's doing and every audition they've had and every role they've had as well.
And you'd be surprised how quickly your numbers, you know, your followers add up.
So then if they're using social media, and say they're a client that you're working with, and you say, okay, you're building it up, what do you say to them to talk about and to do on Twitter specifically then? What's a good idea?
Well, I think that, you know, definitely if you've got, I mean, for us, we tweet any press that we have for them. We put press on Facebook for them. But individually, I think it's really a case of, you know, if you are at that stage where you're already going out and about to events, you know, red carpet events, then you may be, you know, tweeting some of the pictures from that, or if you know of a film date that's coming up, or if you're in a festival and the festival film has been given a date, you can tweet about that. It could be a play, or it could just be something fun, like, you know, I had a great acting class today, or, you know, it's really just a case of, you know, being yourself. I mean, the whole thing is that it leaves you open to everyone seeing you and, you know, being yourself. So I think don't be afraid of what you want to tweet. But I would definitely never say anything negative and never put anyone down, because that could come and bite you in the bum.
Well, it's interesting. You see that. I mean, you've even seen it with footballers, soccer stars. They tweet in and then they delete it, but it's already been screen captured by someone.
I had a client who's a rugby player, and he tweeted a picture of shorts, men's bums in shorts just for fun, and he got fired and had a massive court case.
Oh.
So be careful out there. Be careful.
So
what
no
you tweet.
tweeting men's bums in shorts.
Yeah, that's a good PR tip, isn't it?
That's a great.
Take that tweet I put of you earlier, Steve.
I mean, that's how.
It's crazy.
Because sometimes in the moment you just think, oh, this will be funny, but then you have to have a little barometer in the back of your head.
Now remember that people see it. You know, you forget that people actually see it.
You do hear those stories about people talking about someone tweeted about something they're about to be in that hasn't been announced yet because their friends trying to be
very careful.
fun and playful, but
read
they lose the
contracts.
role.
Read contracts, really important.
Yeah.
You could be taken off a job if you tweet something that you're not meant to. Social media will now be in your contract. Any film or TV contract will have social media. If you're not sure, ask the show or the film publicist. But you know, do not tweet until you definitely can, and that could really be something that could get you in a lot of trouble. So be careful.
Yes.
And now,
that's great advice.
On the same token of, like you just said about don't tweet anything negative, what other things on Facebook and social media and YouTube and things should people not do? What are the other taboos?
Well, I don't think necessarily not do. I mean, I think another piece of advice that would help is, you know, make your personal Facebook be your name, maybe your middle name and your last name, and then make your Facebook fan page your actual acting name, and then you can do whatever you like on your personal Facebook if you just keep it to friends, and then make sure that you're not posting a picture of you drunk on your Facebook fan page. And if you keep them, people do.
Too late. Too late.
I got to delete my Facebook page.
It's all over with already.
Cut, hang out, go.
But you know, it's good to keep it separate because people tend to start adding casting directors on their personal page, and you forget, and you do forget that you know you're putting out to as many people that are your friends, or if your settings are not private, you're putting out to even more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, so
now you're worried, aren't you?
No,
now I'm thinking I should really check what I put on Facebook.
It doesn't worry me.
No.
It terrifies me. So here we go. So you've given some tips. What would be, and it might be some of the ones you've gone over, but let's just say, even if it is, so the listeners, viewers, readers can hear it again. There's something in this today.
Reading this video now.
I don't know what is in it. It's not. No, don't say that. I'll get fired from my own thing. Co-family. Anyway, so what would be? It's not even the end of the week, is it?
No.
What would be your top 3 tips
for social media or
for actors kind of starting out or actors on the way up? What would be your top 3 PR tips to kind of move ahead in the industry?
Okay, what I would say is 1, keep all your clippings, even if it's from you in a play, if it's from you doing a film and you've got the poster. That's really important. If you're going to go to America or somewhere and you need to have an O1 or some sort of visa, you'll need to keep those clippings, and also any decent ones that you get along the way, you can start to put together a press kit. and then that can be shown to agents, and agents can show that to casting directors. So keep the clippings.
Can you tell us more about the press kit? Because some people won't understand what that is. That's really good.
Basically, a press kit can be as simple as a PDF file with your clippings from maybe any interviews you did or any articles that are about you, or maybe film flyers, whatever happens to be. You can put those onto the PDF and create a document that can be an online press kit, and it's as simple as that. It's something you can do yourself. Obviously, make sure that presentation is very good, it looks very classy, and that's something that you can, especially when you start to get good clippings and you start to get more interviews that are decent and look good. You can actually save anything from the internet as well. There's ways you can save the files. There's lots of different applications now to save internet clippings, and then you can put them into one document as a press kit. Bless you.
Excuse me. I do apologise. It dust up my nose. That was just
that would be number one. Number two, I would definitely social media, and number three, especially for anyone else apart from Americans, don't be afraid to promote yourself. In Americans too, but don't be afraid to promote yourself. Don't be afraid to share what you're doing on Facebook, on social media, with your friends. And the biggest advice I can give you is never say just. Never say, oh, I just did this little part, or I just did this. If you're in it, you're in it. I have this part in a film. I'm in this film. I'm doing this role. Never say just, because that just makes it seem tiny. And even if it is tiny, you're still an integral part of the film or television show.
That's such good advice, and I bet people don't think about that, because I do find, especially, that Brits are very, very humble beings. They don't, like you said earlier about the LA.
A bit too much sometimes. You have to kind of think about the business angle again.
The US people really, they've got that down. And it's
PR is advertising for your business.
Yeah.
You are a business, and people forget that. You have to know that you are a product, and you need to promote your product to get more work. So never be afraid to share things that you're doing. Be proud of what you've done.
And because you were talking about the LA visa, and I think that comes up a lot for actors that are trying to get to the next level. So do PR companies like yourselves ever get approached to help with that, to help with the actual I-1 visa applications? And is that something you guys do?
Well, we don't do visa, but I know people that do, and I can pass them on. I'm not going to try and pretend I know about the visas, but sometimes people approach us and they ask us to, maybe they're doing something which we can do some press coverage about, even if it's not a massive campaign. Maybe we can get some interviews which will help towards the press kit. If this is something that we can talk about, we can do that. But visas, no. I would go to a reputable lawyer. There's plenty out there. I do know some names, but it would be good to just go to a good lawyer who and make sure that you've seen work they've done before. And
when have you ever had actors who perhaps are coming from Australia or London or it's one of the smaller hubs, but still massively significant, that want to go to LA, and can London Flair PR work with those kind of clients? So they don't have no history of working in America, but they've decided that's their next step.
Well, for us, it's really, they need something to talk about. So even if you're going to LA, we still need something that we can publicize with the press. So maybe, we have a lot of actors that, Australia and England have amazing TV shows, and they are known and respected in all over the world. So maybe you've come out with something that can be talked about. But generally, even if you've just moved somewhere, we need something to talk about. It has to be something. But it does help if you can have press for visas, obviously. But and also along the way, don't throw things away. People do plays and they think it's just a small clipping, but it will add up. So you want to keep everything you have and use it.
Cool. We've got some
couple of
questions. Okay, you want to go to the first one?
Yeah.
So would it be a good idea for upcoming actors to be interviewed by anyone and upload to YouTube, or should they only look for specific ways to be interviewed? Okay, so I think I understand. I think they're saying, should I just go and get my buddy to interview me and then put it on YouTube, or should I wait until it's actually like a proper professional job?
No, wait, because that will be on there for as long as you have it on there, and you're probably not going to have someone who maybe asks the right questions, or even if you do, maybe it's not good enough quality. So unless it looks like an amazing interview and it looks like it's done in a studio, then I'd say that's a big no-no, because people may look at it as amateur and you want to stay professional.
And they may not recognise who that person is that's actually interviewed them either, so it might not have any.
It doesn't matter as much because there's a lot of different good quality in shows, and maybe you could do something if you're doing a play or something like that. A good idea might be to go to your local press or to go to local radio stations, smaller ones who'll be interested in interviewing you, and that's a good way to get your foot in the door and do things on your own. But I would stay away from YouTube unless it's going to look really, really professional.
Cool.
Wicked. So the next question is, when an actor is being interviewed, are there any particular topics, information they should specifically be looking to share during the interview that will help their PR and visibility?
Yes, definitely. I would say you want to come up with 5 talking points. Number 1 would be, whatever you're in, play, theatre, television show, come up with a description in 1 or 2 or 3 sentences that's very punchy and interesting and describes the show.
Would you help them do that?
We do help them, yeah.
Okay.
We do help them, but it's something you can do on your own too.
Okay.
And make sure that it's really punchy. You'll be surprised how many people talk about it and they're like, I'm in this film and I'm playing a girl. So plan that. Maybe the second point may be, tell them about your character. Come up with a couple of really punchy things about that, and maybe how you got the role. Another question could be, what was it like working with the director or other actors? But you want to be prepared to be, to come across as interesting as possible. And a really good tip would be, whoever interviews you, talk to them as if they're your friend.
Oh, that's cute.
And the other thing you should do, which I've not been doing, is sit on your hands if you use them a lot.
Oh,
yeah?
Which I do.
Stops you from moving around.
Stops it moving. Yeah. So I'm not taking my own tip, but you should do that.
When we're all on Oprah together,
literally sit on them, sit on them. Properly.
Yeah, it stops you from using them, and I know I use my hands a lot. So
also, it keeps your shoulders back.
It
It's not a
does.
bad thing for girls, like to keep your shoulders back and look nice and lean and tall.
Yeah, there you go. That's a tip for you.
Except now we look like penguins, so I'm going to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not using my hands.
that's brilliant. Okay, so can we've talked about. Oh yes, I did have another question for you. I was asking you earlier. I was like, do you have any stories about celebrities or people that you've seen in the industry, maybe not your clients, who are doing it really well, who are their own PR machines? Probably have a PR company.
Well, I mean,
but
definitely.
newer actors could look at and see.
New actors, definitely. Another piece of good advice I could give you is watch YouTube, watch interviews. We all make an opinion as to whether we like somebody or not just from listening to them. So watch interviews and see which celebrities you like and why. And when they're interviewing, I think 2 brilliant would be Sandra Bullock. She's amazing. Now the other one's got out of my head, of course. But yeah, Sandra Bullock's really good. Cameron Diaz interviews very, very well.
George Clooney.
That is the name. I was
Okay, so
thinking.
let's go back to Sandra Bullock for a second. What is it specifically that you like about her?
She's very personable. You feel as if you know her. She's very down to earth. And the thing that she does probably best is she talks to you as if that you're her friend, and that's what you could do too. She talks to you as if she's talking to a friend, and you just feel relaxed. And any good actor will make you feel that way.
Very cool. And George Clooney?
Oh, George
George
Clooney.
Clooney.
Exceptional interviews.
What's good about him is he involves the other person. It's not his being interviewed and asked questions. He may be asked a question and he'll turn around to them and say, well, what about you? And they're shocked because that's not usual. So, and that kind of brings in the person who's being interviewed to really enter the conversation. So if you are having an interview, it doesn't hurt for you to do that, now and again. And so there is a conversation, and it really makes you kind of get pulled in and intrigued and want to hear more.
Wow.
Amazing.
So we've actually got Marcy ready to say hello to, so we're going to introduce her in shortly. But guys, because we don't have much time today, obviously, with Catherine, that we've actually included on the email that we sent out today the Twitter handle and the website for London Flair PR. If you have questions, they can tweet, right? And
you can tweet me. I don't mind if you email me if you think you're at the right time for PR.
Yeah.
And we only do America and UK though. But if you're in one of those 2 places, if you think you're at the right time but you're not sure, don't be afraid to ask.
You might have to open in Australia.
There you go.
Right.
I've got to. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That would be our 3rd office.
So because we want all the actors who are listening to be practicing their PR, so make sure that you are out there tweeting
and do what you can yourself. As I said, you can do things on your own. So
be your own PR machine before you get to you guys.
Exactly.
You come in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kat. And there's lots of tangible tips and tools and things that you can implement. And please, even if you just put one into practice, do that, because that's going to help. Because this is great advice from a PR company that is absolutely smashing it.
I mean, just extra kudos points if you even need them. It's amazing because I actually heard about London Flair PR because of not one but two recommendations. So there's two people that are represented. I don't even know if I've told you, but by Catherine's team, and that's how I actually heard about them. So that just says a lot. Like, these guys are really,
we're lucky like that.
Really great. It's amazing.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
guys.
Cool.